Welcome to episode 44 of Motivating Mondays, a weekly podcast and YouTube series dedicated to help Canadian job developers and other employer engagement professionals develop the tools, resources, expertise, and network to excel in achieving sustainable employment outcomes for their clients or students. My name is Christian St. Cyr, National Director of the Canadian Job Development Network, and today we're talking about ghost jobs. Are they a new challenge job seekers need to worry about, or just more hype designed to reinforce our worst impressions about how employers go about recruiting? Recently, I noticed multiple headlines about ghost jobs, how they're causing confusion and chaos on the job front. It prompted me to wonder, what exactly is a ghost job and why do we need to be so concerned about them? Now, this is a term that came into common use a few years ago and referred to a job of unknown origin that may or may not be real and where the employer never gets back to the candidate. Now, I suppose it'd be more accurate to call them paranormal jobs, but since there are actual paranormal jobs, but no actual jobs for ghosts, outside of course haunted houses, this is the term that has stuck. What is far more concerning to me is not ghost jobs, but the dramatic new names we come up for things that have really been around all along. Many a winter we've been living in dread of the polar vortex. It's coming to encase the entire continent in ice. Now, you may be thinking, when I was a kid, we didn't have polar vortexes, and unless you're 12 years old, you're right, because this is a term that came into popular use in 2017-18, and it's actually a natural practice of the Earth. It just means a large, persistent area of cold, low-pressure air that circulates around the Earth's poles and occasionally dips south or north, as the case may be. Now, of course, we can't scare people with the term polar vortex in the summer, so they've developed the term heat dome, which didn't get popularly used until 2021, even though the term has been around since the 1800s. It just means a high-pressure ridge of hot air, but no one is going to click on that headline, so writers and editors amped up the term heat dome. Now, I'm not saying that climate change isn't real. Clearly, the climate is changing. What isn't changing is people's desire to terrify people with over-the-top headlines just so that posts get more clicks. After the pandemic, we created the term the Great Resignation, this massive wave of people who were just walking away from their jobs. In actuality, the labor market was stronger and people didn't feel like they needed to hang on to their job to feed their family like they did during the pandemic. Today we've coined the term job hugging because people are worried about the economy and don't necessarily want to quit to go look for something else. Now, I have to admit, this is tempting. When I was writing this, I was almost tempted to write the headline, "Ghost Jobs Crisis is going to destroy the labor market, massive job loss to come." But I chose more wisely. When you read these hyperbolic headlines, you have to ask yourself, what has actually changed and what do I really need to know about this? Ghost jobs are not new. Just the regular use of the term is new. They are often placed by recruiters who want to solicit potential candidates for clients who may want to hire in the future. Sometimes they're placed by companies that want to measure how many candidates they could get if they did need to hire. When companies or nonprofits are bidding on future work, they will sometimes place ads to give their proposal an outline of what their staffing model might look like. In other cases, companies are required to post positions due to collective agreements, even though they already have a suitable candidate. And while ghost jobs might not have been around as long as polar vortexes or heat domes, they have been around for decades, if not for more than a century, and they are just one more part of the complex relationship between job seekers and employers. Because headlines and frustration amp things up, it becomes a much bigger issue for job seekers. A recent survey by Employment Hero stated 56% of Canadian workers revealed suspicions that the roles they had applied for were all ghost jobs. This contributes to the general fatigue and depression so many job seekers feel about the job search process. The survey found 78% of job seekers say the challenges of job searching and hiring have discouraged them from looking for a new role in the past. The province of Ontario is trying to do something about this practice. As part of their new employment regulations that went into effect in January 2026, employers with over 25 employers are now required to respond to interview candidates within 45 days of the interview. This prevents employers from ghosting job seekers and discourages them from uploading job postings with no intention of hiring. Similarly, employers who need to include a salary range in their job postings to give job seekers a clearer idea of the compensation that they can expect in the role. Unfortunately, 95%, 19 in 20 Ontario job seekers expect employers to try to find loopholes in the new requirements. Employment Hero noted 88% believe the new rules will help, but the near universal expectation of workarounds points to the persistent skepticism about employer compliance. Sadly, this Ontario legislation may help people in Ontario who've been interviewed, but not everyone who applied for a job. The challenge with job search is the absence of information. It would take so little to reply to candidates who applied for a job and say whether they've been selected for an interview or even that they've made their hiring decision, but they still appreciate the candidate's interest in the position and the company. When we don't know why a decision has been made, or even that it has been made, it's very easy to develop our own narrative. Employers didn't choose someone because of prejudice, or they only want to hire Canadians, or they already had someone that they wanted to hire, or that they're looking for someone who's younger, or that they're looking for somebody who's older. This narrative erodes self-confidence and contributes to the dismal outlook of the job market. If we're here to rally people, to build them up, we need to say that ghost jobs are simply a challenge in the job market and one that can be avoided. Some of the ways that clients or students can identify a ghost job is when the job has been active for more than 30 days. The job is frequently reposted or has been up for a very long time. The job description is vague or generic, or that the role is not listed on the company's official website. Particularly in social media, fear and anger equal engagement, and this is what is driving a lot of job seekers. In our roles, it is so important for us to be a calm influence that focuses on what is working in the job market, factual information, and helping individuals focus on the valuable contribution that they can make. We are now in the final week for people who want to register for our Labor Market 101 training modules and still get the 20% discount on registration. Now, the career development sector has grown so much in the past year. With hundreds of new career development professionals, this is actually an excellent introduction to important LMI divided up into 5 different occupations, and there's a separate training module for each occupation. A person wouldn't want to take more than one training module. They just want to focus on the one that is their actual job. So we have one for resource room advisors, Monday, March 2nd, one for employment case managers, Tuesday, March 3rd, one for facilitators, Wednesday, March 4th, one for job developers, Thursday, March 5th, and one for managers and supervisors. That's on Friday, March 6th. Now, up until this Thursday, February 12th, everyone who registers is going to benefit from that 20% discount on registration, but we need to hear from you by the end of the day on Thursday. Now, we do have 2 sessions planned, one for British Columbia, one for Ontario. If you're in another part of Canada, we're going to try to do sessions later in the year. If you're in British Columbia, go to labormarketonline.com/LMI 101. Or for Ontario, go to OntarioLaborMarketOnline.org/LMI 101. Thank you so much for joining us. Please click the like or subscribe button in your platform. Search for Motivating Mondays wherever you download podcasts. We'd also love it if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and or rate or review this podcast. Now, we do these sessions live and for free every Monday morning on Microsoft Teams. We have job developers from across Canada joining us. It'd be so great if you could be part of the group. Just go to jobdevelopment.org to learn more. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. My personal email address is cstsear@labormarketsolutions.ca. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have an amazing week.